Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I have another Sims 4 speed build for you, and I think I mentioned it in one of my recent videos, but that I was working on a limited pack build with Realm of Magic, and this is that build. And I will say, like, this definitely took a lot of turns in terms of what I thought this was going to be. So initially when I started this build, I wasn't intending on it being a pack specific build, but my idea was that I wanted to build I say a small home, but this is really big. It started as wanting to be a small home for a librarian, and I thought it'd be really cute for it to be kind of this whimsical, maybe cottage in the woods. And I just thought that would be super cute. And then, I mean, it just, well, like it always does, it took a turn. That sounds like it'd be bad, but it's not bad. I don't mean it bad. But I came across the door from Realm of Magic, and it had this beautiful swatch with yellow and red in it. And it looked like the Rose from Beauty and the Beast. And I thought, oh my goodness, maybe this librarian is really into fiction and loves those stories, and so maybe this is the perfect home for her. But that's what led to basically using Realm of Magic because I found the door and it was from Realm of Magic, and here we are. And since I've been trying to do some more limited pack builds for, well, not only because I know people don't have all the packs, but also just to give me more practice with what's in all of the packs, I thought this would be a perfect opportunity. And I am in love with the way especially the exterior turned out. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still like the interior, but the exterior to me just felt very magical, if that makes sense. So then it kind of turned into is this a spellcaster? I don't know. So maybe this is a magic librarian. maybe that's what this home is. It's for a magic librarian. So we do end up having the cauldrons and stuff like that. So all the cool items from Realm of Magic. Since I was doing that as a limited pack build, I figured I need to include those items. If you're gonna download it as a spellcaster home, it should probably have those things. And you can see I'm pulling a lot of the windows and everything from Realm of Magic and trying to get shocker, the wood tones to match properly. And that was easier said than done, even in the same pack, which I know The Sims has a reputation of not having matching wood tones, which is, well, I say reputation, it's true. I have a really hard time sometimes matching wood tones, but I really wanted this really nice cohesive look to the exterior of this home. And honestly, I'm kind of, I don't want to say that I'm impressed with the exterior because I'm not saying that I'm an amazing builder, but I guess I was surprised at what I could accomplish with just base game and Realm of Magic, if that makes sense. I was just really happy with it. And I gave this spellcaster librarian, whoever this sim is, this really cute backyard, and I add in a bunch of stuff on the outside, and it's super magical. There's mushrooms, and there's these glowing orbs that came with Realm of Magic. I say came with Realm of Magic, but they are in the debug live edit part of Realm of Magic. But I think in the magic realm, they have these floating orbs everywhere. There's a yellowy orange one, a blue one, and a pink one. And well, I used them. I used them all over the exterior of the build, and I used a lot of also in debug, the crystals from that pack. I don't know what you'd call them. They could just crystal-y things that kind of glow a little bit, and I thought it looked so pretty. So I kind of put those all over the place, to be honest, outside, and we put a chimney on the house, and I put the crystals in it and some floating orbs over it. There's magical stuff coming out of the chimney, and actually, come to think about, no, I did include, I was about to say, did I not even include a fireplace? But I did include a fireplace. And originally my idea was that basically that top floor, when I started it, was just going to be dedicated to the librarian's books and office space. So really the living area was this first floor. And so we do take a turn in terms of like what is in the top floor. It is more of like an office, library, spellcaster space. We put a cauldron up there, and there's also one outside, but they're just kind of everywhere. I mean, like, I say everywhere, there's 2 of them, but you have plenty of space to practice magic, all that kind of good stuff. And we are actually building in Glimmerbrook, which I think this may be one of the first times I've actually built here. Like, I think I may have built here like on my own, maybe, but I don't think I was actually recording videos or anything when this pack came out. I do not believe. So I don't think I really like ever did much with this like world. And I think there's only about like 3 or 4 lots in it too. But yeah, I've barely even gone to like the magic realm. I just try to combine magic and realm. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's a Monday. But like, I think I've barely even gone there. But even in like debug, there's a lot of like the buildings and floating stuff that came with that like realm. And I thought that was really cute. And I ended up actually using, there's this like lamp with these floating crystals in it. And I thought it'd be really cool to kind of size it down and made it to where they were kind of floating over the staircase. So I really tried to make it just magical. Like that was basically the theme. I really wanted it to be this like really cute fantasy like place. Again, thinking that this sim like is really into like fiction and like fairy tales, and this would be like a perfect place for them. And I honestly like really a lot of the backyard ends up being like vegetation and like a fountain and stuff, just because I wanted to give it that look. But I did include some places for your sim to garden, so your sim can do that here. And this is already up on the Sims 4 gallery. If you would like to download it, feel free to do so and like change it, add stuff, you know, that would fit the needs of the sim you're using in this home. And there is room for 2 sims, by the way. I did use like the larger bed from Realm of Magic, so you can fit 2 sims in here. And these are actually paving stones from base game and they are in debug, and I love using them. Like they look so pretty. I thought about like just using terrain paint, but I liked the idea of having those stones everywhere kind of leading you to the backyard space. And you can get to the backyard from the back of the house as well, but I just thought it would be really cute to have that like side like path to the backyard. And I really do like, I do like this lot. I felt like the lighting might have been a little bit weird, to be honest, but and like having this like drive in the front makes it feel really like grand, possibly maybe a little bit secluded. But I don't know, it was a little difficult because it didn't like connect to that like stone drive like cul-de-sac area really well. So that was like, I mean, I basically just built like it wasn't there. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I build to where like I try to connect it to the world, but honestly, I was just like, I'm just gonna build it and do whatever I want with it. And you can see I'm just like layering in a bunch of different plants and rocks. I think these rocks are actually from the pack, again, from debug. I use, especially with limited pack builds, I use a lot of debug because that gives us a lot, like just a lot more items for us to use if you're only using base game and a particular pack. And I think it also helps kind of like blend your lot into the surrounding area, if that makes sense. Like if you're going to build in that world, using plants and stuff from there would be probably a good idea if you want it to blend in that way. And you can see I'm like beginning to just layer in all of the flowers and those floating orbs I was talking about earlier. Like, and I just thought it looked so cute. Like honestly, like I may even like the outside of this lot like when it's dark more so than like when it's light. But being able to use like all of those crystals and orbs and stuff, they're just so pretty. I feel like, you know, it's hard to have an opportunity to use those. And even putting the crystals in those like fake little balconies that I put on there, I just figured they're kind of everywhere. And I guess it makes sense. Like you're kind of in the middle of nowhere out here and near the magic realm. So like, I mean, having kind of like weird stuff like on the house, I felt like would be okay. But like, and if you put this in like a more like, I don't know, if you dropped it down in like Willow Creek, I think it'd be kind of interesting. Obviously there's nothing wrong with that, but I just feel like it'd be a lot more out of place there. But obviously you can do whatever you want with it. And like I said, as always, if you plan on like, you know, actually using it, you know, let me know like how it goes and like how you plan on using, like, do you have a sim in mind, that kind of thing. Like, I love to hear that, like if you have a sim that would actually work really well for this. But this definitely, again, like I feel like I've been saying that a lot lately. I wanted to play with this house. Like I've been building a lot and I just feel like I've also wanted to play a lot. But anyways, I just don't do a bunch of gameplay, but you can see I'm like putting a bunch of like rocks everywhere again. I mean, not rocks, but like paving stones, and to create like a little path around there to the trash can and to that back porch. And on the back porch, we do end up putting like a grill and a small seating area. So I can't talk today, I'm telling you, area, so your Sims can actually sit and like, you know, eat dinner out there and that kind of thing. And then I just thought it'd be so pretty to put a fountain out here. And I do know that Realm of Magic came with a fountain, but it's rather large and I didn't feel like it like fit very well here. I think later on I might pull it out like of the catalog to try to fit it somewhere, but then I'm like, no, this is absolutely too large. So I thought this was really cute and added a nice little touch over there. And I tried to make sure there was enough lighting everywhere so that everything kind of really popped at night, and it just really just felt really whimsical out here at night. And I try to make sure that my builds are well lit so that like even if you're playing at night you can actually see what's happening, because I feel like sometimes I play on lots or whatever and like I can't see what's happening outside. And I'm like, I don't know where you're going, it's fine. But yeah, just adding in a bunch of crystals. And I do put some crystals underneath this cauldron as well. And you can kind of see that shadow. I will say that is from my reshade. So I do use a reshade when I'm taking screenshots or when I'm building on my own. I don't use it while I'm streaming, but I do usually use a reshade, and that's what's causing that slight shadow. So if you don't use a reshade, you won't see that. So just FYI, like if you like, it's not something you're gonna see while you're playing with it, unless you have this particular reshade. And I believe this is the Dove 2.0 reshade, and I can't remember if I have it usually linked below, but I really feel like it changes things so much. Like it just makes things look so much brighter, and I really like the look that it gives to my builds while I'm building. But I just wanted to let you know in case that's something that you wanted to download and use yourself in your game. And I just don't use it when I'm streaming because for some reason it pulls so many resources from my computer that my like face cam like lags so hard when I'm streaming and I have the reshade on. But if I turn the reshade off, like we're totally fine. So if you've ever noticed that some of my builds, like I don't have the reshade on while I'm building, but the reshade's on when I'm doing screenshots, it's because I probably streamed it and it doesn't work when I'm streaming. Anyways, I don't know why I went on that whole like tangent, but I just thought I would talk about it since it's something like that happens to me. And also if you do see like some slight differences, or if you plan on using it yourself or streaming with it, like that's just something I encounter. I don't think everybody encounters that issue, but like for me, I don't know if something my computer or my webcam, like something just doesn't like the reshade. But anyways, just figuring out how to lay this space out to where it makes sense. And I mean, at the beginning, I was trying to use a full like staircase for this home, but honestly, I just felt like it just took up too much space, especially with the windows I've placed. And sometimes I'm fine moving windows, but like for this home, the exterior to me was like perfect for my vision, and I didn't want to move the windows. So I didn't, which kind of limited like where I could put that staircase. So I ended up putting a ladder in the bedroom so your sim can still like get up there and all that kind of good stuff, but it just isn't through like a staircase. And you can see I went ahead and placed like that fireplace up in that like office library area that I was talking about, because I felt like that would be a really good place for it and would make a whole lot of sense. And I didn't want to forget about it like when I was looking through all the stuff from the pack. And like I say, like now that we're inside, I feel like you can see the like pattern I was talking about on the windows and doors, that like beautiful red rose and like the yellows. It just really made me think of Beauty and the Beast, and I don't know, it just made a whole lot of sense to me. So anyways, I'm just adding in, again, I'm trying to use as much as I could from the pack, you know, to really utilize it, but that's not necessarily like the only items I use or anything, but I do try to showcase that pack if I can, and just adding in a bunch of stuff. I will say, like, this was a little bit difficult, like this open area. I was like, like, I don't know exactly how I want to set this up, and then that like side area just felt like really open, which is kind of odd to me, but like those doors made things a little more difficult, like, so I really created a problem for myself, but I love the doors too much to move them. So they stayed there, but I do actually put that chess table that you just saw, I do put it upstairs so your Sims can get like the logic skill and all that kind of good stuff depending on what it is that they do, like if they make money through spellcasting or if that's just like their side plot that you have for them. I don't know. Clearly I don't do a bunch of gameplay. Like I've only, I feel like, had a spellcaster like once or twice in the game, and like one time it was really funny. My mom was over visiting and we were just playing Sims, like just the two of us, like not streaming or anything. And we created a Sim and decided to create a spellcaster. We literally move into our lot. And I kid you not, like with the welcome wagon, like Sims came over and like one of them immediately, well, first of all, two of them started like arguing with each other, and then one of them went and like stole all my food, and I was like, excuse me, I don't have very much money, like why are you stealing my food? So I was very upset. So then all of a sudden we were learning magic to like torture that Sim, but it's totally fine. Like it just kind of took a turn. It wasn't it wasn't what we were expecting, but like you don't just like come to somebody's house and steal their food. Like that's really rude, and after you sit there and have an argument the whole time while you're trying to welcome me to the neighborhood. Anyways, like I'm being really dramatic, but but I just thought it was kind of funny. Like I was like, what is happening with these Sims? Like they just kind of do whatever they want to. But anyways, just like creating this little entrance space, and I will say I struggled a little bit with like the bedroom, how I wanted to set this up, and like the rugs, and I'm pretty happy with how it came out like in the end, but it took me a little bit of time, like moving stuff around. I tried a bunch of different rugs, like different orientations of items, and I thought it'd be really nice to have like a little seating area, like a little dressing space for the Sim. And this sounds really weird, I'm really happy with how the bathroom turned out. I feel like that's such a ridiculous thing to say, but I think it just looks really nice. I think part of it, honestly, is like the items from this pack. I do end up using the like big, is it a peacock, like bird sink? And I basically never use it. I feel like the only time I ever use it is when I'm making like a magic build, and I feel like that it's like, it would look good there. I feel like you could also, like if you're trying to make like a really ridiculously lavish like gold crusted home, like it would make sense in there too. But just adding in all of those pieces from the bathroom that came with this kit, and then adding in, of course, like a shelf of clutter. I can't remember if I only do 1 or 2 shelves. I can't remember. But I will say that like, so we had a recent update where we can now like, on the actual bathroom sinks, you can have like items clipped to it, which is really, really nice. Like, since, you know, if you've watched other speed builds or watched me even, or if you're a builder yourself, like having to like hand place those items, it's really nice that they'll actually just clip to the sink. However, fun fact, they don't clip to that sink. So I found that out when I was building this, and I was like, no. And I guess it kind of makes sense. It is kind of a rounded sink, like it is kind of an awkward shape. So we ended up just putting a bunch of clutter over on this shelf to make it look a little more lived in. And then up here in this office space, like I said, it kind of like, originally I was thinking it was just going to be a bunch of like books and everything, but then with the whole spellcaster thing we started going on here, I changed and like made this like an office spellcastery cauldron area. So maybe this is where your Sim would do some research and do some like potion testing, like that kind of stuff. And I put some like brooms on the wall, which again, I think I pulled those out of like debug/live edit. And I always say that because I have both of them on all the time. Like when I'm like looking for those types of items, I just click on both of them. And I do that through the Better Build and Buy mod. If you were wondering, like I cannot build without that mod anymore, which like I was really resistant getting it because I wasn't really a mod person, but it is game changing if you really enjoy building, because you can easily like toggle on and off like your different commands you put in, like, and activating debug and all that kind of good stuff. And as a plus, it will also categorize all of the kit items. So if you're someone who has a lot of kits, I highly recommend it. It actually breaks out all those items, which makes a huge difference while I'm building. And sorry, like I went on a tangent, but I really do love that mod. It is so wonderful. But if you enjoyed this build, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.